Hello everyone, my name is Lena and welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I've put out a video, and so I just want to give you an update because I've been missing. I used to put out videos each week, but it's been about 2 months and the holidays have passed. A lot of things have happened, so I just want to give you an update in case you were curious, and some of the things I've been working on might be helpful or useful for some of you. So I want to go over what I've been up to and why I've been gone for so long. And January is off to a really good start, and I'll tell you more about that later in the video. So if this is your first time to my channel, my name again is Lena, also known as Teacher Lena, and I've been putting out videos regularly on my channel. I do like to make videos about my experience teaching online, companies I've worked for, things that have worked for me, things that I use in my classroom, and all of those things. So basically, I like to talk about building your online teaching career. So if those are things that you are interested in hearing about and hearing more of, then please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, because usually I put out videos each week, but I took a break, and it's understandably, it was around the holidays, so a lot of us have been really busy. So, but it wasn't just the holidays that kept me from making videos. So I wanted to get into what have I been doing and what kept me from making videos. And sometimes you just need a little bit of a break too. So that was part of it. I did need a little bit of a break, and as I was taking a break, I was really making a lot of progress and other things. So it's really good to just have that break so you can come back and do what you do and be very inspired and motivated to do it again in a better way. So I'm very grateful that I took some time off just to refresh and to get some things done, and now I'm ready to get back to my regular routine, although I have been in a routine, but I'm ready to get back to my regular video making routine so I can share my experiences more online. So it all started right before we were taking our Thanksgiving break. For me, I take a break for Thanksgiving, and so that was in November. And it was right before that I was telling all my students that we're going to take some time off. And one of my students, she's so sweet, she said,
Teacher, are we going to have a new class after break?
This kind of took me by surprise. I'm like, okay, no. But of course, in the moment I was like, sure, yeah, we're going to have a new class. And I just went with what, the question was. Now, of course, I was not going to just unenroll and create a new class from scratch. But I decided that it was time for me to change the class up a little bit, because this student in particular has been with me, like many of my students, for close to 2 years now. I do a lot of preschool classes, and they have been with me since she, and I should say her cousins, who are all in my class. We do a group class together, and they've been with me since they were 3, and now, they're 4 going on 5. And, we did classes all throughout the summer, and their parents never decided to move them up into another level class. They just want to keep them at my preschool circle time class, and which I had originally thought would be a class which would be just a repeat. I would just teach the class and then the next year teach the same class. But I'm seeing that, some of these students are going to continue with me for more than, 1 year, for 2 years. So, before then, and for this group, I was making more material to kind of, make it so it wasn't the same old. But apparently for her, she wanted a new experience. They wanted to stay in the same class, and they wanted to be with me as their teacher, but she wanted a new experience. And like I said, I had been creating new content, new material, new slides, new games, and all those things for this class, but for her, it was not feeling new enough. So I realized I needed to up my game in my in my class curriculum and making my classes a little bit more exciting for the students who have been with me for a longer period of time, which I've kept many students for a long period of time. And some of them did go up into other classes, so it made it easier. And those classes I was able to repeat the same content that I had created last year, just do it again this year, and without making many changes. Of course, with your classes, you are always tweaking your class and, adding some new stuff just depending on the group and, what you're feeling like and what you feel that they need. So you're always tweaking the class, but if you make a class, you're hoping that you can use that same class again and just repeat the same material without doing a whole lot more stuff. But in this particular class, I had to change a lot in order to keep them interested. And so I did it, and I wanted to, because I love these students. I wanted to make them happy. Of course, good customer service. You want to meet the needs of those who are in your class, right? So over the Thanksgiving break, I started thinking about a whole bunch of different things that I could be doing to make my classes more interesting for them. And I had fun with it. It's always fun to do more stuff. Whenever I get in this creative mode with something, I just go with it. I really enjoy, learning and doing something new when it's, when it involves being creative. So I really enjoyed doing more interesting stuff, and I just kept on doing more and more, and it started to bleed into the other classes that I was doing. So I was, that I was already had, classes that were apart from this particular class with this student. So I started to make more games, more slides, obviously, and more different activities that we could do in the class. So if any of you all are VIP Kid, former VIP Kid teachers, ESL teachers who taught with VIP Kid or GoGo Kid or, a company like that, then you probably are familiar with Find a Star rewards. And I have made these, and I enjoy making them, and I just decided to make more of them each week. So because once they play the game once, it's like, okay, to do it again another week, it's not as interesting. So I started to do more of these, make them coordinate with the theme of the week or the weather or different themes that would make it just align with the class. So I started doing these weekly for all of my classes, and I got, I had to really practice, because before Thanksgiving I did a couple of them, but it wasn't something that I was really good at, like I can do really fast, but I was able to make them more efficiently. So I made more of those rewards, and now I have like a whole bunch of them. And in addition to that, I started doing the escape room games online. So if any of you all teach with Outschool, then you've probably seen many teachers who have the escape room classes. Well, I've been making escape room games for my classes that have to do with what we're actually doing in class. So I do a lot of pre-reading in my classes, and so I will make an escape room for each level class that I'm teaching. So that took some time to do, but they're a lot of fun and the kids love them. And so once you start, they want more and more, and I enjoyed making them. So I started making some of those. And by the way, if anybody is interested in these type of activities for your class, then let me know in the comments below. I will probably make a video about them, but just let me know if you're interested, and I'll decide later. But also, let's see, what else was I doing? I was also making pocket chart games. I was, if you are a classroom teacher, then you know about pocket charts and how helpful those are for your classes. So I started making pocket chart games, and I started to use stickers and things to make these games just look very attractive. So that was fun to create that. And that was just another way to have fun in the class without always using a Google slide. I do use Google Slides a lot, but I like to change up what I'm using so it's not always on the slide or always, sometimes the kids, they just want to see more of them and less of the screen that you're sharing. So I started making more pocket charts too. And so all of these things, they were fun to make, but it just takes time to make them. So once you start creating stuff, the creative juices just start to flow even more, at least for me. And so my creative juices just started to just flow in other areas. And, and then I was on break for a bit. So I started to think about different things that I could do in my house. There's a lot of projects that I have been neglecting to do, honestly, because I just wasn't motivated. But now that I was getting so creative, I started to think about other things that I can creatively do in my house. So I started doing many home projects. And so these home projects I did over my Christmas break. So all this time I have been teaching. I did start going back to, teaching after my Thanksgiving break. And, then we went into the Christmas break. And over Christmas break, I decided to do all these home projects. At first I thought I would do more videos, but I started to do home projects, and I started painting things that just needed a little sprucing up. I started decorating rooms, just adding just a little touches, just some little touches here and there. Not anything major, but just some little things that I didn't have the energy to do before. So I just let my motivations go with it because it needed to be done. So I spent my Christmas holiday doing that. And I didn't really teach over my Christmas holiday. I only taught a couple of classes in the morning. I taught like 2 classes in the morning, 2 half-hour classes. Then after that, I took a week off between Christmas and New Year's because that's what teachers do. Now, I also did take a vacation. We in addition to our holiday vacation, we actually went away. So I traveled to San Diego, and that was done after Thanksgiving. I took a week off after Thanksgiving, and we traveled there. And usually after you travel, it's just kind of hard, just kind of getting back into the routine of things. So after Thanksgiving, I really just needed some time to adjust to my schedule of being back in teaching, because I don't know, I just kept on thinking about San Diego. San Diego was lovely. I loved being in San Diego. It turned out to be one of my most favorite places to go. So when I came back, I was kind of like in a state of missing San Diego. So I just did what I needed to do during that time. So my classes were going really good. My kids, my students were having fun. I was having fun creating all this new content. And one of my students who has been with me for a while too, she told me, and she has been talking to me about me being her primary teacher. She felt like she needed more education in her life, and she wanted me to be her teacher. And so, her mom contacted me, and they decided that they wanted me to be there. They wanted me to homeschool her through Outschool. So this was another thing that I had to really figure out and take time and energy to really decide what I was going to do with her, what I was going to use, and how this was all going to work out. And so with anything like that, it does, again, take time and energy away from other things. So I really want to focus on that, get that going well, do a good job with that, and then after, we've gotten into our routine, I can then add more things onto my schedule. But that has been really, a good thing. I love working with her. I've been using education.com to assign her things, and it's been a really good thing. I was using education.com before for a lot of my teaching, that I do in a lot of my classes. There's a lot of good content on there for things, and so I use it a lot, and I'm very familiar with it. But when I started to use it in a different capacity with this one student and assigning her work, trying to figure that part of this website out took a little time. I had to see exactly how it worked, how, we used it together. So it was like I was in training during this time. And now it works out really good if you're doing any tutoring of, a student or a group of students. I highly suggest education.com. For younger students, I believe it goes up to like 5th grade, so not for any high school age students, but I'm not 100% sure with that. But it is good for teaching young students and assigning work, and they can actually do their work digitally, which was a wonderful thing because she didn't have to continue to print out all of her assignments, which for some parents, it turns into a waste of paper, or maybe they can't get to printers very easily. So, if you could do it digitally, it just makes things in life easier for parents and for the teachers. So she could do the work digitally, and then I could grade it digitally, and our life was just a digital world, and it was lovely. So I have since figured out how we're going to work together, where I can work with her one-on-one and teach her several subjects online as her homeschool teacher. So now that I'm done with all of those things between projects and making new content for my classes and learning how to homeschool my students online through a new website using their software, and my son being home for the holidays, because he came home for the holidays. My youngest son came home, and while he was home, I didn't want to be constantly working. I wanted to take some time off to be with him and just to enjoy life with him at home. So between all of those things, that kept me really busy, and that's the reason why I haven't been so regular with my channel. But now life has gone back to a more normal pace and normal routine, so I hope to get back to making videos regularly again. And January is off to a really good start. I can say that January is looking just as good as last January in 2021. So this is 2022, and my January numbers are really close to what they were in January of 2022. So after having a drop in some numbers around September, even though my numbers were still better than, helping me to make better than what I was making as a classroom teacher or as a teacher with, Google Kid, or teaching with any ESL company I was with. It was my numbers were better, even though they were lower than they were for Outschool, my teaching with Outschool. With Outschool, my numbers tripled in what I was making with other companies and other situations. So now I can say that in January, the numbers are close to what they were to last January, when that was like one of my best times, my best periods. We've gone through a lot of shifts depending on, when students are going back to school, what the weather is like, and all of those things. And so it's with online teaching, you kind of have to be prepared for those type of shifts. You just have to know, like, your students are going to shift, their situations shift, and so you have to know that that's going to happen. So I'm happy to say that the shift is going upward, and for January, this is looking good. I'm really pleased with what is happening, and I hear a lot of other online teachers saying the same thing online. In different Facebook groups, a lot of people are saying, like, now in January, this is a really good time for online teachers. I think it's mostly because of weather, because a lot of students, they just being inside during the colder months, since I'm in North America, I get a lot of students from North America. It's cold a lot of places, so a lot of students are looking for things to do to get out of the cold. I think that's part of the reason, along with just the shifts and changes with COVID and in-person versus online virtual learning. So I think that those have played a difference. A lot of students have unfortunately had to come home and do some virtual learning, and so they pick up more classes online because of that too. So those aren't the circumstances I love to hear about and want to benefit from. But I'm just saying that's what's happening with the swings and shifts with online teaching as an online teacher with Outschool. So January is looking pretty good. So how were your holidays? I'd love to hear from my viewers. Like, how were your holidays? What was happening with you? Did you teach over your holidays? Did you take a break? What was your life like during the holidays? And again, let me know if there's any other type of video that you would like to see from me in the new year. If you want me to show how to make these escape rooms, or how to make more find a star reward slides on Google Slides, which my class loves, I can go through how to make those. Or anything else that you need help with, just please go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I'd love to hear from you. So that is all for now. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.